reading from the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 8, beginning at the 26th verse. The angel of the Lord spoke to Philip, "Get up and head south on the road that goes down from Jerusalem to Gaza, the desert route." So he got up and set out. Now there was an Ethiopian eunuch, a court official of the Candace, that is, the queen of the Ethiopians, in charge of her entire treasury, who had come to Jerusalem to worship and was returning home. Seated in his chariot, he was reading the prophet Isaiah. The Spirit said to Philip, "Go and join up with that chariot." Philip ran up and heard him reading Isaiah the prophet and said, "Do you understand what you are reading?" He replied, "How can I, unless someone instructs me?" So he invited Philip to get in and sit with him. This was the scripture passage he was reading. "Like a sheep he was led to the slaughter, and as a lamb before his shearer is silent, so he opened not his mouth. In his humiliation justice was denied him. Who will tell of his posterity? For his life is taken from the earth." Then the eunuch said to Philip in reply, "I beg you, about whom is the prophet saying this? About himself or about someone else?" Then Philip opened his mouth, and beginning with the scripture passage, he proclaimed Jesus to him. As they traveled along the road, they came to some water, and the eunuch said, "Look, there is water. What is to prevent my being baptized?" Then he ordered the chariot to stop, and Philip and the eunuch both went down into the water, and he baptized him. When they came out of the water, the Spirit of the Lord snatched Philip away, and the eunuch saw him no more, but continued on his way rejoicing. Philip came to Azotus, and went about proclaiming the good news to all the towns until he reached Caesarea. Hear the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. We hear in today's reading from the Acts of the Apostles of the road from Jerusalem to Gaza. And it's very hard not to think of the strained and tension-filled relationship between Jerusalem and Gaza today. Yet the story we have just heard relating to that road is a good news story. The Ethiopian on that road is a seeker. He is reading the Jewish scriptures, a section of the prophet Isaiah. When Philip, one of the deacons of the church, joins him, he invites Philip to join him in his search and to throw light on what he is reading. The probing question he asks Philip about the text gives Philip an opening to speak to him about Jesus. Philip's proclaiming of the gospel moved the Ethiopian to ask for baptism. When Philip left him, the Ethiopian went on his journey rejoicing. The Ethiopian was searching, but he needed help from someone who was a little further down the road of faith that he himself was. The story is a reminder to us that we need each other on the journey of faith. We all have something to receive from someone else. In the gospel, Jesus declares that no one can come to him unless he is drawn by God the Father. Our coming to Jesus is always in response to the Father drawing us to his Son. Yet the Father draws us to his Son in and through each other, just as God drew the Ethiopian to Jesus in and through Philip. Sometimes we may find ourselves in the role of the Ethiopian, seeking the Lord, needing someone like a Philip to guide and lead us. At other times, we may find ourselves in the role of Philip, helping someone to take a new step on their journey towards Jesus. If the Father is to draw us to his Son, we need to be ready both to receive from the faith of others and to give to others from our own faith.